Uncle Vanya. Act 1. A garden in Professor Serebrykov's country estate. Ostrov and Marina discuss how old Ostrov has grown, and his boredom with his life as a country doctor. Vanya enters, and complains of the disruption caused by the visit of the professor and his wife, Yelena. As they're talking, Serebrykov, Yelena, Sonia, and Telegin return from a walk. Out of the professor's earshot, Vanya calls him a learned old dried mackerel, criticizing him for his pomposity and the smallness of his achievements. Vanya's mother, Maria Vasilievna, who idolizes Serebrykov, objects to her son's derogatory comments. Vanya also praises the professor's wife, Yelena, for her youth and beauty, arguing that faithfulness to an old man like Serebrykov is an immoral waste of vitality. Ostrov is forced to depart to attend a patient, but not before delivering a speech on the preservation of the forests, a subject he is very passionate about. Act 1 closes with Vanya declaring his love to an exasperated Yelena. Act 2. The dining room, several days later. It is late at night. Before going to bed, Serebrykov complains of being in pain and of old age. Ostrov arrives, having been sent for by Sonia, but the professor refuses to see him. After Serebrykov falls asleep, Yelena and Vanya talk. She speaks of the discord in the house, and Vanya speaks of dashed hopes. He feels he's misspent his youth, and he associates his unrequited love for Yelena with the disappointment of his life. Yelena refuses to listen. Alone, Vanya questions why he did not fall in love with Yelena when he first met her 10 years before, when it would have been possible for the two to have married and had a happy life together. At that time, Vanya believed in Serebrykov's greatness and was happy to think that his own efforts supported Serebrykov's work. Now he has become disillusioned with the professor and his life feels empty. As Vanya agonizes over his past, Ostrov returns, somewhat drunk, and the two talk together. Sonia chides Vanya for his drinking, and responds pragmatically to his reflections on the futility of a wasted life, pointing out that only work is truly fulfilling. Outside, a storm is gathering and Ostrov talks with Sonia about the suffocating atmosphere in the house. Ostrov says Serebrykov is difficult, Vanya is a hypochondriac, and Yelena is charming but idle. He laments that it's a long time since he loved anyone. Sonia begs Ostrov to stop drinking, telling him it is unworthy of him to destroy himself. The two discuss love, during which it becomes clear that Sonia is in love with the doctor and that he is unaware of her feelings. When Ostrov leaves, Yelena enters and makes peace with Sonia, after an apparently long period of mutual anger and antagonism. Trying to resolve their past difficulties, Yelena reassures Sonia that she had strong feelings for her father when she married him, though the love proved illusory. The two women converse at cross purposes, with Yelena confessing her unhappiness and Sonia gushing about the doctor's virtues. In a happy mood, Sonia leaves to ask the professor if Yelena may play the piano. Sonia returns with his negative answer, which quickly dampens the mood. Act 3. Vanya, Sonia, and Yelena are in the living room, having been called there by Serebrykov. Vanya calls Yelena a water nymph and urges her, once again, to break free. Sonia complains to Yelena that she has loved Ostrov for 6 years but that, because she is not beautiful, he doesn't notice her. Yelena volunteers to question Ostrov and find out if he's in love with Sonia. Sonia is pleased, but before agreeing she wonders whether uncertainty is better than knowledge, because then, at least, there is hope. When Yelena asks Ostrov about his feelings for Sonia, he says he has none and concludes that Yelena has brought up the subject of love to encourage him to confess his own feelings for her. Ostrov kisses Yelena, and Vanya witnesses the embrace. Upset, Yelena begs Vanya to use his influence to allow her and the professor to leave immediately. Before Serebrykov can make his announcement, Yelena conveys to Sonia the message that Ostrov doesn't love her. Serebrykov proposes that he solve the family's financial problems by selling the estate, and investing the proceeds in a bond which will bring in a significantly higher income, and, he hopes, leave enough over to buy a villa for himself and Yelena in Finland. Angrily, Vanya asks where he, Sonia, and his mother would live. He protests that the estate rightly belongs to Sonia and that Serebryakov has never appreciated his self-sacrifice in managing the property. As Vanya's anger mounts, he begins to rage against the professor, blaming him for the failure of his life, wildly claiming that, without Serebryakov to hold him back, he could have been a second Schopenhauer or Dostoevsky. In despair, he cries out to his mother, but instead of comforting her son, Maria insists that Vanya listen to the professor. Serebryakov insults Vanya, who storms out of the room. Yelena begs to be taken away from the country and Sonia pleads with her father on Vanya's behalf. Serebryakov exits to confront Vanya further. A shot is heard from off stage and Serebryakov returns, being chased by Vanya, who is wielding a loaded pistol. He fires the pistol again at the professor but misses. He throws the gun down in disgust and sinks into a chair. Act 4. As the final act opens, a few hours later, Marina and Telegin win wool and discuss the planned departure of Serebryakov and Yelena. When Vanya and Ostrov enter, Ostrov says that in this district only he and Vanya were decent, cultured men and that 10 years of narrow-minded life have made them vulgar. Vanya has stolen a vial of Ostrov's morphine, presumably to commit suicide. Sonia and Ostrov beg him to return the narcotic, which he eventually does. Yelena and Serebryakov bid everyone farewell. When Yelena says goodbye to Ostrov, she admits to having been carried away by him, embraces him, and takes one of his pencils as a souvenir. Serebryakov and Vanya make their peace, agreeing all will be as it was before. Once the outsiders have departed, Sonia and Vanya pay bills, Maria reads a pamphlet, and Marina knits. Vanya complains of the heaviness of his heart, and Sonia, in response, speaks of living, working, and the rewards of the afterlife. We shall hear the angels, we shall see the whole sky all diamonds, we shall see how all earthly evil, all our sufferings, are drowned in the mercy that will fill the whole world. And our life will grow peaceful, tender, sweet as a caress. You've had no joy in your life, but wait, Uncle Vanya, wait. We shall rest.